It was the same. And what's really unfortunate is we got rid of them. I came into the office and I said, all right, what do we have? What do we got to work with? And what do I have to shift? So that's kind of how you and I met, is that, I wanted to revamp our finance department because it wasn't moving as fast as I needed it to go.
Yep.
And I was waiting 3 weeks for financing to close. And
Which,
that was,
for the record, we can close in 3 days now.
yeah, which is phenomenal. It used to, 3 weeks to 3 days. That's quite a jump.
Yeah.
And so I looked at kind of everything, and I asked Corey, I was like, how's this work for you? He's like, I don't really know. So I asked the guy who I replaced, I was like, how's this working? He goes, it's okay. And I was like, why don't we just get rid of it? Seems like it's costing us a huge chunk of change to have this. And he's like, all right, we'll get rid of it. So the only thing I had at that point was the website to generate leads. So what I did was I put everything on Facebook Marketplace, which is, you deal with a lot of people who are just asking questions, which is fine. If you want to ask a question, more than happy to answer them. In just doing our website and Facebook Marketplace, I actually increased our sales.
That's incredible.
And I lowered our cost. So I increased our revenue through that as well.
You cut all the fat out. Mm-hmm. You did what Elon Musk just did to the federal government.
And Elon Musk fog is banging in. Yeah, which I think was actually really crazy. Even though I was going up with interest rates that were at 8% and an election year, I was still able to increase from the year prior to what we were doing now with cutting revenue and increasing our volume. It's insane.
What are your thoughts on the election year? Do you think that sales decrease in the boat business on election year? Because everyone denies it, but I can say that it's 100% accurate.
No, it affects everybody. You see across all industries at least a 30% decrease. Nobody wants to do anything.
Well, there's the biggest fear is the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
And if you boil it down to everything that anyone could be possibly afraid of is quite frankly the unknown, and the unknown is an election because you don't know what's going to be the result of that. Now that people know what's happening, they know what's going on, I would say buyer confidence has increased. And would you say your sales have shown, or at least maybe interest in boats has increased since the closure of the election?
So we'll talk about the results of the election. We'll talk about 2 weeks before, and then we'll talk about 2 weeks after. 2 weeks before the election finished, 0 calls. I had nothing. 2 days after the election closed, I had 20 calls.
So we've talked about a bunch of different topics today. One of my favorite things to ask is, what is the best boating advice that you've ever been given to close up this episode?
Oh, I've gotten a lot of advice.
It can be more than one. It can be 4 or 5 pieces of solid information or solid,
The best advice that I've ever been given is only go as fast as you want to hit the dock. That one is probably tried and true.
That's a very, very, very good one.
Yeah. And then, if you're out, that's for docking. And then if you're out on the water, if you don't know, don't go. Or if you don't know, go slow. Because if you're going faster and you hit something at 35 miles an hour, your outdrive is gone. But if you hit it at maybe 5 miles an hour, you're just going to bang up some props and a skeg.
Yeah, the difference
limits your cost of damage.
The difference of hitting something at 5 miles an hour versus 55 miles an hour is drastically different.
Yeah. I had a customer over at Mountain View, was guessing on which side of the buoys to be on, went through them, knocked his drive right off. Yeah.
One of my favorites is if you have to make a decision on left or right and you don't know and you don't have time to slow down, maybe you're in a situation where it's shallow, hug the buoy. Always get as close as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Chances are, if you're only 8 feet away on the other side, but basically the width of the boat, it's not going to cause as much damage.
Yeah.
Or if any.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's going to wrap up our episode 1 of Prop Talk Podcast. Check us out on Spotify, YouTube, and don't forget our Instagram handle is prop.talk.podcast. Thanks so much.